I'm going to be as detailed as possible on purpose. I have waited and waited and waited for Swift to do the right thing, and they have not. So, being the advocate for all things living, specifically people and civil rights and justices, in this case, I am that bitch. So, I warned Swift. It wasn't a threat. They know about my channel. They're still subscribed to my channel. And while they strongly advised me against doing this video, I told them, quite frankly, go fuck yourself. So, here we go. July 22nd. I was dropping a load. I started in St. George, Utah. I went to pick up or drop an empty and pick up a loaded trailer from TJ Maxx Distribution Center in North Las Vegas. And sorry, the sun's going down here in Kansas, so I don't know how much light I got. But I have an APU. I own my own truck now. Let's get that out of the way. I have my own truck now. Hey, I have my own truck now. Texas Mother Trucker Transport LLC is a real thing. And I leased for 1 year. I'm leasing or contracted with Hirschbach, which I love. But I really enjoy doing my own thing. So it's pretty cool. So anyways, got that out of the way. I am my own authority now. I do what I want, when I want, and I make a way more fucking money than I was ever making or would have made with Swift, even if I would have leased my own truck. So, let's dig right in because I don't have a lot of battery and I'm running out of daylight. So, July 22nd, I'm dropping, they were backed up at the TJ Maxx Distribution Center in Vegas. So, they have 2 lanes. And they were using the right lane for us to drop our empties. Well, if you've ever been there, there's a huge, like, 2-foot curb of concrete on the right-hand side. Usually where you drop your empties there, and then the yard guy comes and takes it wherever he takes it to go get it filled. So they told us tires on the curb. I was in my Kenny, so I didn't want to scrape up her tires, but I did get as close as possible. Now, keep in mind, Swift has faulty fucking trailers. They spent way too much time and money on buying tractors, and now they're just now starting to buy trailers. I had an old 08 trailer that had whack-ass landing gear. I had had this trailer for 4 days at the time, and the trailer, the handle had to be like cockeyed and crooked, and then you like had to turn it a certain way. It was really janky. If I had been on flat ground, this would not have happened. But here's the story. So I'm parked up against this curb. If you've never seen me in real life, I am short. I am only 5'4", and I am a small framed person. So I'm balancing myself on this curb. Now, behind the curb, if you've never been to the TJ Maxx Distribution Center in Vegas, there is a long, steep concrete ravine that goes down. And if you fall down that bitch, you ain't making it up. You go into Rosewood Funeral Home to be cremated or put 6 feet under. So, I'm not scared of heights and I'm pretty good at balancing, but I'm dealing with this janky ass landing gear. I'm short again. This elevated me 2 feet. Now the landing gear is below me. So I had to bend over and was doing the landing gear, and it was hot as balls because we're in July and we're in Vegas. It's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. The landing gear that I had been complaining about, the bolt finally broke while I was in motion of spinning the fucking gear, and it smacked me in the face, busted my lip. I think if you follow me on Snapchat, you saw the video. It busted my lip. I actually stitched my own lip on my truck. I'll get to that in a minute. But it knocked out this tooth right here that has been replaced. I still to this day can't remember the full impact. I was turning it and then I said, oof. And then I could feel the warmth of the blood gushing from my face. And I was like, holy shit. And when I said holy shit, I could feel the shard of what was left of my tooth cutting the inside of my upper lip. So I was like, oh fuck. I didn't give a fuck about my lip at that point. I was more concerned with the fact that I have a podcast. I have the YouTube channel that, this is why I've been gone for so long. That, and I was trying to cover Swift's sorry sack of shit ass. But, oh, I'm back. I'm back in full effect. Swift told me everything I needed to know. So, I immediately take pictures of myself. I take a video of myself, the blood gushing from my face, my snaggle ass tooth, and I send it immediately to my driving team in Houston. Not one person in Houston said, stop what you're doing, call claims, get an ambulance, none of that. They did ask if I was okay. My lip was swollen. It was already starting to swell like Hitch, Will Smith in the movie Hitch. It was completely busted from the inside all the way up. I wish I had better lighting in here. I could probably show y'all. But I'm going to make a flipogram of all my receipts and all the pictures. I am about to put them on blast. That's facts. That's motherfucking facts. And I told Kevin Quast, the fucking president, and his sidekick piece of ass, Ken McCobb, or whatever the fuck his name was, McB. Yeah, I'm about to put out names, what their titles are, what departments they work in. This bitch is on a mission. Call me Aaron Brockovich, okay? So, I've only been quiet because, not that they asked me to be quiet, although they did offer me a settlement. We'll get to that. I'm going to go in chronological order because I've told this story 13 fucking times and I need to keep it in order because they have threatened me with a slanderous and defamation of character lawsuit. I said, bring it the fuck on. Bring it the fuck on because I have medical documentation for every single thing. I took screenshots of my text messages telling my driver leaders I, on my children, am not safe to drive. We'll get to that. I'm about to blast the fuck out of Swift, and I don't give a motherfucking fly's ass. Don't care. So anyways, I took a video and I took pictures. I've never been injured. Not like this. Okay, across from the meat packaging district. I'm at the National Beef Center. But, anyways, not one person told me anything about claims. Not one fucking person told me anything about going to a doctor or a hospital. We did not have. So I went on vacation in Mexico for my 20th anniversary, came back. My favorite terminal leader of all time, Kadar Larak. If you see this video, fucking call a bitch. Like, I miss you. I know that they fired you for sticking up for us drivers. And Swift is on a fucking firing kick right now because too many people are talking. Too many people are sticking up for the drivers. Swift is about money. They don't give a fuck about their employees. Let's get that out of the fucking way. They do not give a fuck. The only reason that Swift has ever taken care of me is because my terminal leader, who was a truck driver for most of his life, who understands what it's like to be out here on the hustle every single day, he always fought for us. If it wasn't for him, I would have been gone a long time ago. Because I just put up with too much shit. Let me move to the back where maybe there's more light. Hold on. So anyways. Well, there would be more light if I turned it on. There we go. Anyway, y'all could stare at my shoes. I got all my shoes in there. So anyways, I wish I had a holder. This is a long story. Let me figure out how to do this. Let me stand up. There we go. And now I just got to look here. Okay, so anyways. I sent them the pictures, the videos, and all that stuff. And they were like, okay, if we can you bandage your lip? Is there something you can do? We really got to get this little to California. And in my mind, I'm like, damn, do you not see what the fuck is going on here? And being a medical professional, I already know that once the adrenaline wears off, once my body settles, there is going to be more pain somewhere down the road. The nerves are still gone. I could go and stick a fucking rusty nail through my lip for the rest of my life. I'm never going to feel anything again. The nerves were completely damaged. And this tooth is fake as fuck. They had to do a root canal. There's no nerves there. Nothing. Like, I was in serious fucking pain at the moment until they busted out everything. Oh, fix that. So anyways, moving forward, I said, I can see how far I can drive. I said, but I have to stop the bleeding. There was blood all over my truck. My poor Kenny, I had just got her back. Hello, hello, hello. This is a fuck you Swift video, so this is why I've been gone. So if you still love Swift, get the fuck out. That is my best fucking advice. Get the fuck out. To all of you who have reached out to me on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, some of y'all who still have my email, I've already warned y'all. Get the fuck out. I am so sorry that I ever even promoted Swift. I don't want to have a motherfucking thing to do with those bitches except see them fry. That's facts. I have been an advocate my entire fucking life, and now that I'm the victim, they're telling me, oh, well, you cannot say this and you cannot say that. Well, fuck you. I did not sign your NDA, and I'm going to tell my story. So, moving on. I carry an ambulatory first aid kit on my truck. One, because I know how to use it all. And two, all of my in-laws are paramedics, and they were like, oh, this could happen, this could happen. Luckily, I had an IV bag. Still have a really messed up vein because I'm not left-handed, but that's my good vein. But gave myself an IV on my truck, myself, stitched my own fucking lip. Luckily, I have lidocaine and syringes. But I fixed my own lip. I could not fix my tooth. I didn't even find my tooth. Didn't care to find it. I can now say I gave my blood, sweat, tears, and teeth to Swift. So, I'm wondering, working on the medical side, there is such thing as workman's comp, right? We've all heard of it. I'm still a company driver at this point. I was actually on my way to Phoenix, yet again, to go sign the lease papers. We had already done the numbers. I was on my way to Phoenix to go sign for my kitty. Blessings in disguise. I gotta tell you that. Their lease program, it's not fucking worth it. If y'all want to lease or buy your own fucking truck, reach out to me. I can tell you how to do it. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I never thought in a million fucking years that I would ever be talking shit about Swift, but I now know that it was my my terminal leader in Houston who had my back and all of us drivers in Houston's back. Once they let him go, the head bitch in charge, her name is Danielle Davies. She's a fucking wetback from God knows fucking where in South America, and I can say that because I'm Mexican and I don't give a fuck. She came in from nowhere, and with her purple hair and her weird shit, and I look different, but she just came in with that HBIC fucking look on her face and didn't return phone calls, didn't do shit. She's the one who kept telling me to drive, and put me in contact with somebody in claims injury department whose name is Jenny Bishop. That's Ginny Bishop. She seemed like a sweet, nice little old lady when I first started talking to her. And I found out about Jenny Bishop the day after my incident. So here's how the rest of the day went. I stitched my lip. I was so glad that masks are in effect because I didn't want to, I was more embarrassed about my tooth. I talk for a living when I'm not driving. I do conferences and all of these different things. I had no fucking tooth. And that freaked me the fuck out. I like, where's my fucking tooth? So that night, I drove 8 hours. I bloody and all. Didn't even change my clothes. Cleaned up my truck later. It looked like a fucking murder scene in here. Blood on my seat, which really upset me. I picked up the fucking load and drove 8 more hours to Manteca, California. And I still hadn't heard anything from anybody. Nothing. Not a fucking word. Videos, messages, Zonar messages. Like, I'm reaching out to people saying, hey, I need to see a fucking doctor. Somebody needs to tell me who to talk to. Crickets. Motherfucking crickets. And it wasn't a Friday, it was a Thursday. So I took it upon myself to call the Phoenix terminal. And I said, look, I don't know who to talk to. I've contacted my people. Nobody's informing me of anything to do. I was injured. And now that I've been driving for 8 more fucking hours, my neck, I had lost range of motion in my neck to the right. I was hit from the left side. My back was killing me. I was getting to where I could not see my dashboard. I couldn't even tell you how many miles an hour I was going. And my head felt like there was an axe in the middle of it. And my eyes were open and I could see if I focused really hard, but I had a concussion. So I told them, I'm dropping this fucking trailer at Lathrop. I didn't ask. I told them, I am dropping this trailer in Lathrop. I need to see a doctor. Who do I need to talk to? The fucking receptionist who just answers the phone with her kid screaming in the back was like, ma'am, what time did this accident happen? I said, 8 hours ago. She's like, did you contact this? Yes. Why didn't they send somebody to get you when you're in an accident? You call claims immediately, you stop what you're doing, and you go straight to the nearest ambulance. Nobody told you to do that. No. Nobody. She immediately puts me in contact to file the claim. I file the claim. That lady was having a shitty day because she was the only person working. There was a million people calling her. I was on hold for 3 fucking hours. And then she had a shitty attitude. So I asked, I said, who do I call to complain about you? Because you're kind of bitchy. And you got like really poor customer service skills. She explained that she was the only person. She was going on vacation the next day. And they were just running her ragged. I said, you know what? Kudos to you. Mad props. We've all been there. I left it alone. She told me to contact this Jenny Bishop bitch in the morning. So I did. I actually didn't get much sleep that night. I was in so much fucking pain. My blood pressure was so high from being in pain. My nose was bleeding. Even my ears were fucking bleeding. My tooth was still bleeding and was still cutting the inside of my lip. My stitches weren't as tight as they could be because the way my lip was busted open, I don't know if y'all can see this. No, because it's dark as fuck. Anyways, I'm gonna make a flipogram and put it on here with all the fucking receipts. But it was cut all the way inside out. So whenever I was sleeping, it got wet on the inside. I didn't put the cotton in there right, or I did, but it fell out. And so anyways, I had to re-stitch the inside of my mouth that morning, which was quite painful. And at that point, the top of my lip was touching my nose ring. Like, my lip was so fucking huge. So I called Jenny Bishop. Seems like a very nice old lady. I'm sure she's a great grandma to somebody. And she's just as sweet as can be. And she's like, well, the problem is workman's comp is not going to cover you in California because you're a resident of Texas. Right there, I already knew whenever I got healed, I was getting the fuck away from this company. A corporation who doesn't know how workman's comp works doesn't need to be in business. Or they're in business to get rid of people. Like, I've done workman's comp on the medical side. Workman's comp covers you wherever your job is, wherever you are injured. So she specifically told me, I'm going to make you an appointment at the Concentra in Fort Stockton. I said, ma'am, I cannot drive. This is all transcribed, and then it was all in my Zonar. And then I was still texting my people in Houston saying, hey, this bitch is trying to get me to drive. I am in way worse shape this morning than I was yesterday. I can't see my dashboard. I can barely fucking move my upper body. I said, my head feels like it's in the clouds and pounding all at the same time. What do I do? And they said, well, you're going to have to just, if you got to go 8 miles an hour, go 8 miles an hour. That's what I was told. The place was 7 miles away from the Lathrop terminal. It took me about an hour and a half to get there. And half of the time I was driving on the fucking shoulder. I get to Concentra. Jenny Bishop has already let them know, and she let me know to let them know that right off the bat I had to tell them I'm not a resident of California. I said, why do I have to tell them that? Workman's comp covers you where you are fucking working and injured. She said, you have to follow the rules like this or Swift is not going to cover you. I said, it's not Swift that needs to cover me, it's workman's comp. Set the indication number 2 that I was about to get fucked. So I get to Concentra. Jenny Bishop calls me again. I told her, I said, look, I checked in first thing in the morning. They said it's going to be about a 5-hour wait. She says, well, we're going to have a problem because you have to take a post-injury non-DOT drug test, but you can't do it at Concentra. You got to go do it 12 miles up north in another direction at another place. I said, why the fuck can't I just do it here? And I hadn't cussed at her at all. I was actually very nice. I'm cussing like this now because I am furious, and cussing is actually why they're saying I'm terminated, but they can't put it in paper. To this day, I haven't received any correspondence from Swift at all. At all. So anyways, I go in there and I tell the Concentra people, I said, hey, y'all say it's going to be 5 hours. I said, they want me to go take this drug test, or I'm going to be terminated because it's a failure to take a drug test after an injury. Even though I'm not failing to do shit, the Concentra people say, ma'am, you're not in any condition to drive. They had already triaged me. I had 60% loss of vision in my left eye, 20% loss of vision in my right eye. Bitch, you're not supposed to even be driving a fucking bicycle, much less a 10-wheeled vehicle. So I pass this message along to the guy. So there's a guy that I'm dealing with in Phoenix that does drug tests for injuries. He works it out with the people over there, and they agreed to see me as long as I get there by 5 o'clock. If you've ever driven in California on I-5 at 5 o'clock or at any time during the day, you can't get anywhere in California very quickly. 5 hours later, they call me. I walk out of my truck. I go inside. It's a Nigerian doctor, which I love because they look at things from a different perspective. So I sit down. The first thing she says is, you need a tetanus shot. I said, yes, I do. Give me the shot. And then she says, after doing a neurological exam, x-rays, and a CT, I said, ma'am, I can't be doing all these tests. I said, they told me to tell you that I'm a resident of Texas and that they're not going to cover me because I'm in California. She said, this is a workman's comp claim. She said, this makes no sense. I said, my thoughts exactly, but I was instructed by Jenny Bishop to tell you that I'm from Texas. And she's looking at me like, what the fuck does that matter? So she says, get the person on the phone who's telling you this and let me talk to them. So I contact my driver leader because Jenny Bishop is unavailable. Contact my driver leader. My driver leader is trying to get me a flight home to Houston. My Houston team is still working for me, what little team there was. The only way that they fucked up is they did not tell me to stop what I was doing, call claims, and get to a hospital. They didn't know what to do because Kadar used to tell everybody what to do. Kadar was the terminal leader. These are just driver leaders. So they gave me the number to a lady named Mindy. Works in claims, a different department in claims. She's in charge of traveling and not traveling. She talks to me in the x-ray room. The radiologist is waiting. They have a million other people to see. And she is explaining to the doctor the same thing that I'm telling her. Workman's comp for Swift does not cover injuries unless the patient is in their resident state. The lady said, the doctor flat out told them, this woman needs to be in a hospital. She has a concussion. She has a cracked jaw. She is missing teeth. She stitched her own lip, which needs, proper care. I had stenosis of my spine, my cervical spine, meaning that C-shaped part of your spine back here. Mine was stiff as a board, which is why I could not turn it. And there were 7 vertebrae in my thoracic back that looked like somebody just was playing Jenga with them. Not to mention I had a concussion and swelling around my brain. So the doctor flat out yells at Swift and tells them that she is going to file a complaint on them because she cannot, in good faith, not treat me or treat me and send me back out in the truck. So she just writes on a piece of paper that I was there. She wrote down my injuries, but stated on the paper that per Swift, the patient was to continue driving until she got to her home state. The lady was legitimately in tears. She asked me for their information and all that stuff. I said it should be on the paperwork. She said, not if it's a workman's comp claim. We pulled out the paperwork. They faxed it over. It said, WC claim, but the contact information was Swift's corporate office phone number in Phoenix. And the WC claim address was 7500 or 20, whatever the fucking, 75th Avenue. It was their Phoenix corporate office address. That's not workman's comp. And I know what workman's comp paperwork looks like. That's Swift shit. She said, honey, I don't know how you're going to get home to Texas. She said, but I highly suggest you think about who you're working for. She says, because they're doing some shady shit. She gave me my paperwork and told me to be as safe as possible. I made it barely. I had to call the guy at the drug testing place and say, hey, they're not wanting to take me. The cutoff was 15 minutes ago. I drove as fast as I could, which was only like 10 miles an hour because I couldn't fucking see anything. And he did his magic. They saw me, got my piss test done. Everything was fine. So now this Danielle Davis or Davies, whatever her fucking name is, stupid bitch. She's now the terminal leader at Houston. She calls. I'm en route to vacation before I come to Houston, and I am working with a planner in Phoenix, and we're gonna get you a load going to San Antonio. This bitch had a hard-on for fucking San Antonio. I said, bitch, I live in Houston. But if y'all are stating that I have to be in my state resident, my residential state, why can't I just get to El Paso? All I gotta do is be within the parameters of Texas, right? I said, and again, how many times do I have to tell y'all? I am not fit or safe to drive. Even the doctor has told that to whoever the fuck Mindy is. And she said, well, because she didn't stop you from driving, she didn't restrict me from driving because she didn't actually treat me. Well, because you're still not restricted to, you're not restricted to drive, Swift's not going to fly you because a doctor hasn't said that you can't drive. Do not go to fucking Swift. I want to burn the motherfucker down. Want to. That's not a threat. I'm not threatening Swift. I know y'all are watching my bullshit. I got into a fight with the president and vice president earlier today. But anyways, I told them I would be doing this. I even told them what time. So anyways, time goes on, and I said, okay, I have verbally told you, I have texted Shatera Taylor, I have that was my driver leader in Houston. I have texted, because I was in the middle of going from company to owner op. So I was on Charlotte Ramirez, the owner ops board as well. Those were my 2 points of contact that I had been in contact with from the beginning. Not one of them told me to go to claims. Call claims, make a claim, go to a hospital, nothing. They said, can you drive that load? At the time of the incident, yeah, because I still had adrenaline going. My teeth have no effect on my driving ability. But at the moment that I could not drive, I pulled the fuck over and told them, yo, I cannot do this. When I say I can't drive, there is a huge fucking problem. I don't stop. I'm now up to 650 fucking miles a day. No answers. Nothing. Fucking crickets. So now it's Friday. I'm at the doctor. She shooed me away. I gotta go take this drug test. They shooed me away. Guess what? Now it's Friday. It's 6 o'clock in the evening. Not a fucking thing's gonna get done with nobody. So the new head bitch in charge that's taking a vacation before she comes to Houston, sets up a deal for me to pick up in Jurupa Valley. She still wants me to drive in California. Go to Jurupa Valley, pick up this load. It was a live load at that. And I only had 22 hours on my clock. I'm all the way in Lathrop, Fort Stockton area, Northern California, and I got to get all the way to Houston, fucking Texas. I got 22 hours on my clock, and this bitch got jokes with live loads, live unloads, total dicking me around. I told them, look, fly me home, or I'm going to unplug my fucking Zonar, and I'm going to take my fucking truck home myself. I don't care if it takes me 4 fucking days to get there driving 10 miles an hour. If y'all are saying that I cannot get treated until I get to Texas, I'm at least going to cross El Paso. I made it to Phoenix. I took a bunch of medication. Y'all know I got my Walgreens right up in here. Hold on, let me move my watch and shit. This tote right here keeps any kind of medication you could ever want, including narcotic pain pills if I ever needed them. I didn't even take them. And I was already drug tested. I didn't even take them because I would never further endanger my ability to drive. I took a shitload of Tylenol, a shitload of NSAIDs, and I'm a gastric bypass patient now. I cannot have NSAIDs. If I get an ulcer, I'm going to be on a colostomy bag the rest of my life. But I was doing everything I could to try and stop the pain. I have lidocaine patches still from the incident that I bring with me. When I tell y'all, I brought everything from the doctor's office with me on here for any possible thing that could happen. I am not joking. So I have lidocaine patches. I am doing everything I fucking can to get as far as I possibly can. I pester them. That's their word, not mine. I pestered them enough to where they said if I could make it to Phoenix and drop off a Costco load that I picked up in Jurupa fucking Valley, that I could, they'd go ahead and for me to make my own flight arrangements, and they'll send me the money. They did. Oh, I'm back on, well, right now I'm doing an East Coast run, but I'm back on West Coast driving. Almost all the loads that I'm going to take are going to be West Coast. But I get paid, I am my own boss now, so I go where the money goes. And right now, I have a reefer trailer that I'm leasing. The truck is mine, but the reefer trailer I'm leasing. And a lot of the reefer goes more bi-coastal, but I will definitely call you. I took my son racing the other day. We have a K1 Speed in Houston that I took him to. He loved it. I still got my racing cap in here. But I got to Phoenix. I flew home. I got to tell you, I love flying. That flight almost killed me. The altitude, having the concussion, my nose started bleeding. It was a whole situation. I get to Houston. My family comes to get me. And I got to sit in pain all fucking weekend long. I go to the clinic. I get some Toradol shots. And I get some steroid shots. I'm injecting myself with whatever I can to just fucking stop any of the pain. And I have a high pain tolerance. But not this kind of pain that I was dealing with. And I couldn't move my neck. It was a whole situation. Ginny Bishop calls me Monday morning. And she says, well, I hear that you stirred up quite a ruckus. Quite a fucking ruckus. Bitch, I'm fucking injured. Okay. But again, I'm still being nice to her. She tells me that the only people that I'm allowed to talk to about my injuries or the treatment of my injuries are herself, and there's going to be a lady that's going to be my workman's comp adjuster. Oh, I'm doing great now. Doing great now. Loving life, making money. If you can buy your own truck, do it. Get your own authority. Hirschbach actually paid for my authority, and I didn't have to pay them shit. I gave them a few months of my life, and that was it. Hirschbach, and I can't say enough about them. They're an amazing company. They got me where I am right now, and I can't be more thankful. But going back to my story, she said this lady named Heidi R. Guess she doesn't want anybody to know her last name. Heidi R. works for a company named Providence. She's going to be my workman's comp claims adjuster. Workman's comp claims adjuster. And Jenny Bishop she works for Swift in the claims injury department. These two cunts already knew from the beginning they were going to conspire against me. Yes, I do own my own truck now. I went and got her in Idaho. My cousin, who recently passed away from the COVID vaccine, vaccine number 2, she worked for McKinney Trailers for a very long time, and she was a broker for a lot of other things. And she actually hooked me up with a company. She actually hooked me up with Hirschbach, who allowed me to the means and all of that fun stuff on getting the truck. I'll do a whole nother story about how I got my truck, how much it costs, and all that fun stuff. But it's a 22 Freightliner. She only had 38 miles on her when I got her, and I have an APU. I have everything. This thing has so many bells and whistles on it. Sometimes it drives me crazy. But anyways, I'll tell a whole nother story and do a tour of my truck on another day. Y'all have been wanting to know where the fuck I've been. This is where I've been. So this Heidi bitch calls and starts not interrogating me, but the opposite. She's very stern, and she's giving me all these rules. You have to go to the doctors that I tell you to go. You go on the dates and the times. If you miss the dates and the times, you're going to be terminated. If you don't comply with what the doctor says, you will be terminated. If you don't agree with blah, 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 termination. That's all this bitch was talking about. So I'm like, okay. I've never been injured before. Don't know how it works. I've only been on the other side of it, and we didn't treat people like shit. So maybe this is how Swift treats people like shit when you get injured. I don't know. Didn't know. Had no clue. So she sends me to Concentra in Houston. I drive my car. My truck I left in Phoenix. Kenny was left in Phoenix with all of my belongings. We'll get to that part in a minute. Heidi makes the appointment at Concentra. I still am having a hard time driving, but I get there. The lady sees me immediately. She looks at the injuries that the lady listed from Fort Stockton, and she says, I need to get you to imaging immediately. She does. I still had 47% loss of vision on this side. I was down to 15% lost vision in this side. My stenosis of my spine, I had whiplash, still had a concussion, lots of inflammation around my head, encephalitis. My thoracic spine was not only sprained and / strained, but it was twisted. 7 vertebrae were twisted. She immediately said that I should not even be driving a bicycle, made my son and my husband come pick me up in my car and drive me home and drive my car home. Took me off of work immediately. I was not even allowed to drive. Oh, this one has shitloads of room. And a much bigger refrigerator. Like, I have an actual fucking freezer. My refrigerator comes up to like right here, my booby area. But this is my home for sure. But the lady is like, how have you gone since Thursday with all these injuries? She's like, what are you taking for pain? I said, I can't take anything because I don't know when I'm going to go back to work, and I can't go to work with any narcotics in my system. She says, ma'am, she was like, I'm recommending 6 weeks of intensive physical therapy. She's like, you are not going to work anytime soon. And I was like, okay, cool. That sounds great because I feel like absolute dog shit. My bones feel broken. She was like, you're lucky that if your neck would have snapped any further, I could have died. I don't have any recollection of the actual impact of it hitting me. It happened so fast. The only thing I remember is the warmth of the blood and everything after that. So I had to sleep sitting up. I was in a brace, all of this shit. The lady gets the paperwork and she says, you said this was a workman's comp claim, right? I said, yes, ma'am. They said that I had to get to Texas for workman's comp to cover me. And she said, that's a crock of shit. She was an old, honorary white lady, and I love her to death. Dr. Dolan at Concentra in Houston, shout out to you. She told me also, she gave me a phone number to file a claim against the other doctor. And thank you very much. The other doctor in Fort Stockton for not doing her job, regardless of pay, because I should have never left that clinic. I should have been taken straight to the hospital. So this lady gets the paperwork and she says, you see this paperwork that they just sent me? She's holding it up. I wish I would have brought it on the truck with me, but I was waiting for Swift to do the right thing. Dumb me. But as soon as I get all of the paperwork back, it's all in a folder about this big now at home. I'm going to make a flipogram of it so y'all can flip through it and see. I'll give you all my medical information. I don't care. I'm putting Swift on blast and I don't give a shit. And even though they have threatened to sue me for speaking out because I wouldn't sign their non-disclosure agreement, with the information that I have and the documentation that I have, they're going to wind up paying me and bigger lawyer fees when this goes to court. And I hope it does. I hope they slander, they say I slander them and drug them through the mud. Aaron Brockovich their ass. Because they're never going to win. Never. There's too much documentation that they tried to cover up. And here's where the cover up comes in. Dr. Dolan is holding the piece of paper up to me. She said, you see where this says WC claims? She says, look at the phone number and look at the address. What does that say? I said, I saw that in California. She said, honey, you need to go home. You need to rest. I'm going to file this with whoever. I guess I got to contact Swift. I said, they told me it's a company called Providence. And the lady, my caseworker, or my workman's comp claims adjuster, her name is Heidi R. She says, what does R stand for? I said, retard, I guess. I don't fucking know. I said, I've only talked to her a handful of times and she's a little bit on the autistic spectrum. No, I was outside of the truck and the landing gear was janky and I was elevated I was where they had us park. I had to stand on top of a concrete slab, so I had to bend over the janky landing gear, and as it was spinning, the bolt broke off, jabbed me in the face at a very high velocity, knocked my teeth out, gave me whiplash, concussion, twisted my spine. It was a whole situation, and I had to stitch my own lip on my truck, and keep driving 8 miles, and actually kept driving all the way to Phoenix. I get emotional because I started this journey with Swift on purpose to prove that Swift wasn't a bad company, that it was just really bad drivers that were making them look bad. And when you're the largest company and you have the most amount of trucks on the road, things can be misconstrued. And every bad thing that's ever happened to me with Swift, my Houston team always had my back. When I came back from my vacation in Mexico, my terminal leader was fired, and everybody knew that it was for backing up drivers. He's the one who followed my Kenworth. He followed Kenny and made sure that she got rebuilt. He kept tabs on her, and he even had Arupa Valley hold her for 3 weeks while I went on vacation. And that very well could be what have got him fired. But he took care of us. And I realized very, very shortly after I got back and he was gone, just why Swift made sense for me. It was the terminal leader that I had. It wasn't Swift. And when Kadar was gone, everything went to hell in a handbasket. And I get emotional because so many people I have not misled, but led you to believe that Swift was this great, awesome company. And Swift, as soon as I got injured, chewed me up, spit me out, and fed me to the wolves. And it just keeps getting worse. So Dr. Dolan comes back into the room. Go back to the story. She comes back in and she says, I don't know who this Heidi lady is. I've never heard of Providence. She says, but you need to get a lawyer. And I said, no, I'm working with Swift. And I said, they're going to figure it out. She made my husband and my son come pick up my car, pick me up. I wasn't allowed to drive. So before I even make it home, Heidi, my workman's comp claim adjuster from Providence, she's calling me on the phone. And she says, well, I just got the doctor's note. And she said, Swift has denied all of your claims. I don't talk to that motherfucker. I wouldn't know. I hope he drives off a bridge one day. Anyways, probably a troll. Anyways, I got 50 fired and his fucking recruiter, so I don't give a fuck what he has to say. Swift fired him because he deserved to be fired. That's what I got to say about that. Anyways, moving right along, Heidi goes on to tell me that Swift is denying all of the neck, the concussion, the whiplash, the cervical spine stenosis, the strain and twisted spine. All they are going to fix is my tooth. Because none of those other claims were made on the initial phone call. Yeah, it is cool. Get off my channel. So anyways, I said, hold the fuck up. I said, these were documented by the doctor in California that y'all told me I couldn't really see because I wasn't a resident of California. And now y'all are saying that y'all are not going to pay for my stuff. So who's going to pay me and who's going to pay for all this fucking physical therapy that I need? She said, well, the way it works is you have to be out of work. You have to be restricted from driving for 5 days before they start calculating your pay. So I had to be restricted from driving for 5 days. Now, this lady just pulled me and put me on restriction from driving for 6 months. 6 weeks. But Swift denied those claims. So that's a moot point. So I'm at least off until I get my tooth fixed. On the 4th day, they made me a fake tooth at first. Then they had to send the imprint and all this stuff. They already did the root canal and all this other stuff. On the 4th day of what would have been 5 days, on the 4th day at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, I get a call from my dentist. His name is Gilbert Price. And he said, I got to tell you, T, I just got a call from a lady named Heidi who claims to work with Workman's Comp. And she is demanding that I give her a letter stating that you are released to go back to work. And he said, I never took you off of work restriction. He said, that was the medical doctor. He said, I'm a dentist. He said, what do your teeth have to do with you driving a truck? And I said, look, Gilbert, I said, there's some really shady shit going on. I said, I'm not asking you to do anything but your job. I know that you're a dentist and my teeth have no weighing factor on me driving that truck. I can already see what she wants. Just do your job. I'm not going to hate you for it. This is business. I said, do what you need to do. Answer her truthfully. He did. At 4:55 p.m. Central Standard Time on the 4th day, I get a call from Heidi. Well, we just received a work release from your dentist, and so you're not going to be being compensated because you're now free to go back to work. I said, I said, do you know anything about the fucking law? And at this point, this is where I start cursing for real at everybody and getting ignorant. I said, who exactly do you work for? Are you working for the injured party or are you working for fucking Swift? Because it kind of sounds like you're a paid, legal, hired hitman to get rid of injured employees. I said, Swift is kind of sounding like a glorified mob that's just legal. I said, but operates the same. I said, I come from an organized crime family. I just wrote a whole fucking book about it. I'm on book 2. I said, and my dad used to hire people like you to get rid of people like me who talk, who ask questions, and who are what we call a liability. She didn't like my tone or my questioning or my words and said, look, all I need you to do is call Swift and go back to work. Still with the concussion, still with whiplash, still needing physical therapy. I said, okay, bitch, I got you. Hung the fucking phone up. Central Standard Time, I could still call Phoenix. Get a hold of Jenny Bishop. I said, okay, Jenny, I'm going to play by y'all stupid fucking rules. And she said, okay, ma'am, I need you to not curse at me. I need you to tone it down. I said, no, this is 2 weeks already gone by. 2 weeks I've been going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No compensation, no nothing. And in between there, from California to Texas, the 5 days didn't start until the following Monday when I got to Houston. So that's how I lost a week and a half for those who are going to count and troll and do all of that shit. So now we're almost into August. And I said, okay, I'm going to play by your stupid rules. I've been released to go back to work, so I need a plane ticket to get back to my Kenny. And I'm going to try and do the work the best that I can. She says, well, you have a safety hold on you. I had my brother, she was on speakerphone, my brother's on the other side of the counter. And he's like, just looking and listening. He said, what the fuck? And she said, I'm sorry, but you can't have me on speaker. These are being recorded. I said, this is my house. I can do whatever the fuck I want to. She said, again, ma'am, I need you to calm down. I don't need that kind of language. I said, well, maybe you shouldn't fucking work with truckers. If the word fuck offends you, get the fuck out of the trucking industry. She hung up on me. I had to call back. Got a different lady. And Jenny was over there crying in the background. And she said, ma'am, we're not going to tolerate. I said, look, here's the fucking deal. Why am I on safety hold? The answer was the most classic piece of shit answer I've ever heard in my life. The third-party workman's comp hitman, who doesn't work for workman's comp at all, she's a private sector insurance that Swift pays to get rid of injuries that they don't want on their fucking record. I have sought legal counsel. My family happens to be famous and we have legal counsel on our paid payroll. So, go figure. They obviously don't pay attention to too many of the videos. They would have already known that shit. So, I already knew that I had a wrongful... at this point, I hadn't gotten terminated yet. Hold on, I'll get to that in a minute. Gross negligence and a work-related injury that they were not taking care of. They forced me to drive in unsafe conditions, endangering myself and the people around me. After I said every single thing and gave all of my lawyers everything that I had, they were like, you have a huge lawsuit on your hands. What do you want to do? I said, well, Swift has never done me wrong. Still, I'm still sticking up for these fucking piece of shit. So, anyways, I asked the lady, why am I on safety hold? The classic fucking answer. Well, because of your neck and back injuries and your concussion and your whiplash. I lost my shit. I fucking lost it. I started screaming. I said, are you fucking serious right now? I said, Jenny, I can fucking hear you fucking whimpering. You fucking cocksucking piece of shit, pussy ass bitch. Verbatim. And I said, fuck you, whoever you are on the phone, and fuck Heidi, fuck all of you. I said, are you fucking telling me that you're gonna put me on safety hold after this third-party hitman bitch just got a fucking release for me to go to work from my dentist who didn't even put me on hold? So she got the paper to get me off so that they didn't have to pay me compensation for being out of work for 2 weeks. Then I go to get back to work. I'm going to play by their fucking rules. See how far I get. Safety puts a hold on me because it's documented by 2 doctors now. One in California and one in Houston. Same diagnosis. These doctors don't know each other. But Swift denied those claims. But those very claims that they denied is why they put me on safety hold. Let that sink in. The next day comes around. I get a call from the head bitch in charge now. She is now officially off of vacation and she's made it to the Houston terminal. I actually went to the terminal first on that Tuesday. I went in there and stood in front of her for like 30 minutes while she was talking on a personal fucking cell phone, literally looking right at me. She actually texted me, not knowing who I was, texted me and saying, oh, I got your messages. I'm busy. I got a lot of people in the office right now. I'll get to you in just a little bit. I have my phone and I look at my phone and I'm like, I'm looking at her. I'm the only motherfucker in the goddamn trailer. Who the fuck is in there? She's on her personal fucking cell phone talking shit about vacation. Texting me, not knowing who I am because I haven't met her before. Sitting there for 30 fucking minutes, talking on her cell phone, hoopline about her fucking vacation and what a shit show the Houston terminal was left in. And all the work that she has to do, that she already needs another vacation. I can tell your whole fucking conversation. Texting me that she's so swamped And then she has all these people in the office. Dumbass bitch had the most priceless face when she got off the phone and said, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yeah, I'm Teresa DeLeon." Demeanor changed out the fucking window. Well, what are you doing here? You didn't fucking answer the phone for 2 days. I've emailed, I've zonar'd, I have fucking texted you, I have called my driver leaders, which neither one of them were there. They were on vacation now. I said, and now I decided to come here in person. I said, I need to introduce myself anyway. I'm kind of a troublemaker. And she said, well, we need to go ahead and get you your security badge. We have this new thing. Like, totally bypasses all of the shit that's been happening and starts talking about a security fucking badge. I said, who is going to pay me for all the time that I have been off? And how the fuck do I get back to work? She said, well, you're on safety hold for your neck and back injuries. I said, you too? Okay. I said, I'll be back. I left because if I didn't leave at that point, I would have left in handcuffs. 2 weeks I've been dicked around by these stupid sorry sacks of shits. They're all working together. They all work together. And please believe, from the moment you pick up the phone and call the recruiter, they are recording and transcribing every fucking thing that you say. Everything. The next day comes and goes. I don't hear anything. We're having family movie night. I'm on safety hold for injuries that Swift failed to even acknowledge. Paying for physical therapy out of my own fucking pocket. Then I get a call at 9:30 Tuesday night. I think it was August the 3rd or the 2nd, whatever day that was. My actual termination date was the 3rd, but she called me whatever that Tuesday was. 9:30 at night from her personal cell phone. So we have been talking. I said, wait a minute, who's we? She said, well, the what does she call them? The faculty field or some shit like that. Somebody, she gave some spiffy name. And I'm like, who are they? The only people that can terminate and hire people are the people in HR, and I haven't spoken to any of them. She said, well, we offered you, and they did. The first time I asked Heidi with Providence, Workman's Comp, I asked her how was I gonna be compensated? She said, well, Swift is willing to offer you a severance package in exchange for a non-disclosure agreement and your resignation letter. I said, what the fuck? I hadn't even been pissed off at this point. I'm still hurt, injured, going to doctors, following their rules, doing what they say, going here, there, and everywhere, even though I'm not supposed to be driving. And I said, wait a minute. I don't want to resign. What the fuck are you talking about? She said, well, this is how we handle these types of cases. I said, what type of cases? I fucking got hurt at work. Aren't you Workman's Comp? She was like, I said, what's the number? What am I worth to Swift? She said, well, if I give you the number, then that's your acceptance of the package that they're offering you. I said, are you fucking kidding me right now? I said, I don't want to know the number because I don't have any intentions of leaving. I said, but I do want to know how I'm going to be compensated. So, 9:30 on Tuesday night, Danielle's like, you should have taken the package that they offered you. She said, and now we have made the decision as a whole to part ways with you. I said, part ways? I said, y'all haven't even fixed me. Y'all have done nothing but fuck me up the ass with a fucking jagged, serrated knife, fucking American me style, with no fucking lube. For 2 fucking weeks. I've put up with all of your bullshit. I said, what is the reasoning behind this? And she said, well, we don't really have to give you a reason. And to this day, they haven't given me one. They really haven't. I was supposed to receive a paper in the mail. I was supposed to sign something. To this day, I still was fighting. Kevin Quast is the president of Swift, and his butt buddy, Ken McBee, that's his hitman. So when you call Swift and you ask to speak with Kevin Quast, they will tell you, we can't transfer you to him. So he's head honcho. If you're in the cartel, he's the dude that you never see. Or if you watch Queen of the South, he's Camila Vargas, he's Teresa Mendoza. You don't ever see them. His soldier, though, his number 2, Ken McBee, you can't get transferred to him either. So I said, how do I email him? I emailed Kevin Quast. Kevin Quast said, I am going to get this over to Ken McBee, and we are very sorry for everything that's going on. We're going to take care of. I said, great. A week goes by, not a fucking word. So send Kevin Quast another email. Get a real quick phone call, because I told Kevin Quast in the email, I said, I have been quiet, and that is very strange for me. My family was so shocked that I had made this video, because I was hurt. I'm still hurt, to be perfectly honest. I'm angry, but I'm hurt. I'm angry only when I have to go through the story again, because it reminds me of how bad they fucked me over. But I'm more hurt by the fact that I put my trust, my faith, all of my hard work into this company, that I was going to lease a truck, which, by the way, just throwing some numbers out there, for my Kenny, they wanted $1,550 a week for 3 years. And then after that, it was going to be a $62,000 balloon payment, because they lease their trucks. So basically, I'm paying what they would pay for the truck, and then there's a balloon payment at the end. When you do it the way I did it, which I'll make a video for, even though my truck cost $171,000, I walked away paying $52,000. And she's mine, free and clear. I have my own authority. Trucker Transport LLC, and I can contract with whoever the fuck I want to, still run off of job boards, and make about 7 times as much more money than I would have ever made with Swift. So I make damn good money. And I'll make a video about that and teach y'all how to get the fuck out of Swift if you're with Swift or with any other company. Stop company driving. Don't do it. Just don't fucking do it. Do it to get your CDL if you need to get your CDL. Do company driving to get some experience, because you need some experience. And know if that's how you learn if this is for you or if it's not. Sorry, I haven't eaten, I haven't drank anything earlier today, and I'm still learning how to talk because my jaw was cracked. So now I have a speech impediment as well. Anyways, last week, I was home for the Harry Styles concert in Houston that got canceled because of the rain. But we've been waiting 2 years, now we gotta wait a whole nother year. Homie doesn't... Anyways, I was home for Harry Styles, take my daughter. It was her birthday present 2 years ago. Didn't happen. So this McBee dude calls on Saturday night. He calls, he introduces himself, and he says, I want to hear your story. So every single thing that I just told all of you, I told him without all of the colorful words. I was very professional. I actually cried. I actually am trying not to cry now because it still hurts. It does. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a bitch. But it hurts when you get fucked over by somebody that you put your heart and soul into. Time away from my family, busting my ass, driving 650 fucking miles for $500 paychecks every week because of payroll doesn't know how to do their job. You literally have to call payroll every fucking Friday if you work at Swift. That's a fact. And then they find different ways to fuck you. They find different ways to fuck you every which way to Sunday. They give you loads that they'll give you all the miles you fucking want, but they're going to make sure that they land to where you only one load per check. And then the other load, literally, if the cutoff is Sunday at midnight, they'll make sure that that load cannot, the customer will not take it any earlier than 5 a.m. Monday morning. And so while I'm doing all of these miles, and I have all the pictures and I'll go back and show y'all, I was doing week after week 650 fucking miles a day, still only bringing home, after all of my personal deductions, my time, money that I set away for my 401k and my normal people with no kids and shit like that, they would make more money. But it was to the point where I was bringing home, like, my highest check was like $678, driving like a maniac. And then they were flip-flopping me day, night, day, night, day, night, day, night, day, night, day, night. They were just running me ragged. They created my own lane where I was running my West Coast, Pacific West Coast, and all of that stuff, but then bi-coastal. And basically they created a lane for me because I drove the way I drove, to where I would go pick up all the late shit that the lazy drivers couldn't get on time, and I would haul ass and get it there. Never late. Have a perfect fucking driving record. I put my whole heart and soul into every single thing that I do. And I just want to say, I am so fucking sorry. And if you're with Swift, get the fuck out. And if you're thinking about coming into trucking, go to Prime. They're the best. If you have felonies, you can't pass a hair follicle, go to Pam. They take anybody. Get your experience and move the fuck on. Knight and Swift, they're merged. Knight actually called me. I got my termination officially went in on August the 3rd. Knight Transportation called me August the 4th, offering me a job in the same fucking truck I was in. So, let's talk about the termination. I got dumb bitch. I got the dumb bitch. I've heard that too. But of all the companies, if you need a starter company, Prime, on my own research, is the best so far. Go in there. If you got a lot of felonies, go to Western Express. They're like Pam, they take anybody. And they don't do hair follicles. So if you're worried about hair follicles, there's a list on the internet you can find, but Pam and Western Express are at the top. Prime or Swift? What the fuck? I would have left that truck and sent them a fucking Uber bill. So, I've heard that is a big ass thing. That's how I knew to unplug my Zonar. I had been asked to do that plenty of times. So when I needed to get home, I said, well, I'm going to unplug my Zonar like I've had me do plenty of other times and drive 24 fucking hours a day. And I'm going to go home. When I said that, they were like, oh no, blah, blah, blah. She typed it in the fucking Zonar. She got receipts now. Now what are we going to do? They had no choice but to fly me home because I typed it in the Zonar. Receipts are the key to everything. So, head bitch in charge, I get back on the phone with her on Wednesday morning. She didn't answer. She says I can only communicate with her through text messages, so she has record of my vulgar behavior. I said, okay, bitch. Who in the fuck is going to get me my shit from my truck? She said, oh, we're going to mail it to you. I said, no, I don't think you understand how much shit is on my truck. She said, it doesn't matter. We're going to mail it to you. I said, if anybody steps foot on that fucking truck, you're gonna have a fucking lawsuit on your hands. That may be Swift's truck, but that's my personal fucking shit. I do not give you permission to touch my shit. Not only did they touch my shit, they broke my Rand McNally, $750. Literally, they had these big, like old 500-pound fucking postal service bags in a pod. I had 12 of those motherfuckers full and still had boxes and crates. All these totes and stuff that I have, all my totes, they taped them up at least. I have a fucking $650 Ninja right here. I have all of my appliances. My whole life is on my truck. My whole fucking life. And so I paid for my own flight to go to Phoenix. The very next day, I was on a plane. Very next day, I took the next flight out. Rented the biggest SUV I could fucking get one way from Phoenix, because airport to airport, they don't like to go one way. Paid a shitload of money for that thing. And my shit still filled the whole SUV up to the front. A big ass 9-passenger fucking Suburban. We put all the seats down. When I got to Phoenix, I had to be escorted because they said that I was a danger to the employees of the property. The security guard came out. I spent a lot of time at the Phoenix terminal. He was jaw to the floor when he saw me. He said, "You're the one that is here to pick up her stuff?" He said, "What the fuck happened?" I said, "I still don't even fucking know, dude. Let's just get this over with." I'm crying. I'm crying because I'm fucking hurt. I'm irritated. And now I know that they've already been on my truck. They touched all my shit. God only knows how they packed it. I was told that there was going to be pictures taken, that there was going to be inventory of my stuff, that there was going to be 3 witnesses, and there were going to be somebody from safety and security there to make sure that none of my stuff was fucked with. He tells me, "Who told you that?" I said, "Safety and the dumb bitch Danielle Davis over there. She's the new terminal leader, interim terminal leader at the Houston terminal." He said, "We don't have that kind of manpower." He's like, "The 2 guys from truck assignment are the ones who went in your truck. Nobody else was involved." I said, "So there's no pictures, there's no inventory, and you're telling me that I can't go through these bags and check my shit?" He said, "I'm not allowed to let you." He said, "You take the bags with you." Well, not all the bags, plus my appliances, plus my television, plus all the other shit that I have on here. Not all of it would fit without me having to go through some of the bags. I said, "Look, dude, I'm not trying to fucking do anything shady." I said, "But this shit doesn't fit. I have to empty some of these bags." My Rand McNally, I have a new one that I had to pay for again. They had it at the very bottom of the bag. And homie doesn't know what's in my shit. It's not his fault. He's picking up the bags and going like this. Boom, on the concrete. Boom, on the concrete. I said, hey. I have expensive fucking shit in there, dude. Can you calm down? Like, please? It doesn't, I said, looking in these bags, I can tell they're not packaged professionally. He said, my bad. He was very apologetic. He was very nice. I have nothing bad to say about him. I don't even want to say his name. He was a very nice guy. I start going through the bags of my stuff. And literally, it was equivalent to a shakedown in a jail cell or your house being raided by the cops, where they just toss your shit all over the fucking place. Almost anything that had a screen was broken. Never been replaced. There was no pictures taken of anything. No inventory. 2 old dudes from truck assignment got in my truck. And upon getting in my truck, it appears that I don't have anything. I just live off basic necessities. That couldn't be further from the fucking truth. I could live in this truck. I have enough inventory, clothes, and stuff to cook and do anything I need to with for at least a whole month. My under bunk, y'all already saw it in the previous video. Y'all saw how I had Kenny. I'm a tote whore. Totes and organized things. Or things to organize things. Like, I have baskets down here that organize my stuff. I have baskets up here that have my kitchen stuff. Like, totes and baskets and all of it just thrown in these bags without a fucking care in the world. I immediately get in the car. I drove 19 hours straight home to Houston. There was one point a lady from HR called because I filed a complaint about my shit. Her name was Adriana. I'm sorry, Audriana. She corrected me. She listened to my story. She listened to me cry. I'm pulled over on the side of the fucking road. Still haven't been paid. Now I got more shit to pay for the next truck or wherever the fuck I'm gonna go next. And then she says, well, I read the transcript and I gotta say, we just can't have that kind of unprofessionalism here. I said, with all due respect, bitch, did anyone care to pick up the phone and ask me what led to me calling Jenny Bishop pussy ass bitch and saying fuck you, fuck you, fuck you? Is that normal behavior? Do people just wake up and cuss out 78-year-old women? No. I have never called anybody at Swift and cussed anybody out a day in my fucking life, and I should have a gazillion times. I said, y'all saw me as a major fucking medical bill. I asked way too many questions about your lack of workman's comp, and y'all wrongfully terminated me. She says, well, we haven't quite come to a decision on what we're going to do yet. We know that you don't work here anymore, but we're still working out the logistics. I said, I don't care what fucking logistics you have to work out. I am going to be compensated, and the world will fucking know what the fuck y'all did to me. I said, as I sit here driving this rental car all the way back to Houston, because once they figured out how much stuff I had, they said I had 30 days to go get it, or they were going to donate it and throw it away, and or throw it away. They weren't going to pay me to go pick it up. I don't fucking work there anymore. And all the 6 weeks of treatment that I needed, I couldn't get anymore because I was terminated. Therefore, there went my benefits. And you pay for your benefits every fucking week. So legally, I actually still should have had benefits for the next 3 weeks, because even though I was out of work, I was still having to pay for my benefits. Even if you're off of work a week at Swift, benefits still sends you a fucking invoice. Your deductions do not stop. I was still paying. So they did send me, I think it was a $227 check for the 3 weeks of benefits that I paid for that they terminated. So I was still paying out of pocket for the treatment that I needed. That $227 that didn't even pay for one session of the intense therapy that I had to go through to fix my back. The Texas Hammer reached out to me immediately. But the thing with those big time lawyers are, they want you to have surgery. They want you to wear the braces and be on crutches and be out of work and be on disability the rest of your life. That's how you get the millions. That's how they get millions. It wasn't about money for me. It's still not about money for me. It's about the principle. It's about justice. And it's about letting everyone else know. My channel has always been honest, blunt, to the point. I've never hid anything from y'all. And I told Swift, I said, my channel, my subscribers are questioning where the fuck I'm at. I don't go this long without not posting a video. I said, and I'm going to tell my story. Oh, well, you can't do that. Well, the fuck you. Yes, I can. It's not slanderous if it happened. And it's not defamation of character if I got receipts. And I got all the fucking receipts. So they got another lady from HR. They got wind that I was going to go. She called, sounded very concerned, tell her the story for the 11th time. Cried again. And she's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm going to work on getting you the compensation for your stuff that was broken, for the time that you were off, and all blah, blah. Unicorns and rainbows and everything that somebody in my position would want to hear. Bought them another 2 weeks. I start calling, leaving voicemails, emails, text messages. Finally, I say, you know what? I'm giving you 24 hours. I'm going live. It's my channel. I can do what I want. I have never signed a non-disclosure agreement with Swift. I never will sign one. And now, if they ever gave me a chance, too late. I gave you more than enough time. I actually agreed. Ken McBee called last week. He actually sounded genuinely concerned. When I got off the phone with him, he had made a list of stuff that he was going to put into motion for me, and he had to talk to the right people and make sure that everything was okay in exchange for my silence. And I said, I won't be silent about the fact that I own my own authority now and I have my own truck. But even after all this time, I gave in and I said, you know what? I won't say anything bad about Swift. I'll just say that I parted ways and to do my own thing. And for that, I'm a total pussy. I don't have that much pride to say that. There's no words. I did it. Well, I said that I would do it. I trusted them. I believed them yet again. And I thought, damn, I finally fucking won. Paul comes in the room. I'm on my knees on the floor like a Islamic person praying to Allah, crying my eyeballs out. And my husband's like, oh my God, what happened? I had this huge sigh of fucking relief that I had finally gotten somewhere. And today, well, that was Tuesday of the previous week, last week. He said, give him till Thursday. He said, take down my number. I said, I don't need your number. I said, I've been through this song and dance with almost everybody at fucking Swift. No offense. I said, apparently all of you corporate people are very offended by the F word. I told him what I called Jenny. I told him everything that I did, like I'm telling y'all. And I said, it was warranted because of all of the shit and all of the lies, all of the lack of compensation and humanity, compassion for what happened. I was forced to drive. I was forced to endanger my life even further, endanger the lives of other people. What if your daughter or your son or your wife and kids were driving on the road with somebody like me with 60% loss of vision on this side, 20% loss of vision on this side? I'm literally telling y'all, I cannot drive, I cannot see, I can't turn my head. People are honking at me. I'm driving on the shoulder. I'm going 14 miles an hour. And y'all keep telling me, keep going. Keep going. So I said, I don't need your number. I said, actions speak louder than words in my book. Always have. So he said, no, I want you to take down my number. I am very concerned and I want to handle this for you. I said, okay. He said, but you know they're going to ask you to sign this agreement. I said, that motherfucker even asked me if I wanted my job back. Now that one, I said, no. I can't trust y'all. Once you lose my trust, it's gone forever. You're fucking dead to me. I won't say anything about your company, but no fucking way. Not even for my Kenny. He located my Kenny for me. The thought of somebody driving my fucking truck kills me. And I run into Swift drivers out here all the time, and I just try to, like, not even look at them. I got past it. Thursday comes. He says, if you don't hear from me by Thursday, give me a call. Called Thursday, left a message. Nada. Friday comes. I said, well, let me give him till about 4 o'clock. Central Standard Time. Nada. Called today. And I said, look, sir, I'm getting the feeling here that you're like the rest of the people. I said, and I've got my receipts. And I've got my story. And I have subscribers that are reaching out to me through every fucking avenue there is possible to reach me, short of calling me on the phone. And the ones who have my number, they have called. I said, so there are people out there that know what has happened to me. I said, if I don't hear back from you tonight, I'm going to go ahead and go live with my story. I said, because last night I spent hours on Instagram answering people. I said, I cannot keep this in any longer. People are noticing me at truck stops. You can't miss my truck. It's the brightest fucking orange you've ever seen in your life. The thing that just ran into Jupiter could see the fucking thing from space. Is that orange. You cannot fucking miss me on the road. If you think you've seen a fluorescent orange, my truck is brighter than that. It's in memory of my cousin that we just lost that was going to come out here and truck drive with me. My truck's name is Ricky. That was my cousin's name. She helped me get it. This is a dedication to her. That motherfucker called me back real quick today. And he said, right from the minute, he said, how are you doing, Miss DeLeon? I said, I'm well, get to the point. He said, well, I said, well, you can stop right there. He said, no, let me finish. He said, it is a common consensus amongst all of the parties involved that your verbiage can be very hostile. I said, my verbiage was hostile with one person, Jenny Bishop. He said, who happens to be a 78-year-old woman who is as sweet as could be. I said, I don't give a fuck. She could have been God himself. I don't take back one fucking word that I said to her then. And Jenny Bishop, if you watch this fucking video, you're still a fucking cunt. I don't take it back now. I don't take it back now. I gotta plug in my phone. Y'all stay right there. I said, I don't take it back now. I said, how the fuck are you going to allow a driver to tell you, multiple people, that she is unfit to drive? You've got 2 different doctors from 2 different fucking states telling you this bitch can't even drive a fucking car. Where's my charger? I said, and then you force her to drive anyways. I said, so you're gonna tell me that my frustration wasn't warranted? Sorry, y'all are probably looking at my head, but I'm getting to my strip bar. I said, so you're gonna tell me that my frustration wasn't warranted after all that time? And he said, well, anybody in your situation would be frustrated for sure. He said, but I've read the transcripts. I said, you didn't have to read them. I told you what I said. I said, is that why I was terminated? He said, we're not really sure how we're going to do this just yet, but they are not going to compensate me for any of the time that I was off. I asked them, part of the agreement of me signing the NDA was I wanted the termination, if that is what it is, overturned, because I don't have a termination in all my 42 years of living. And I started working when I was 15 years old because I was on the streets. I said, I don't have a termination ever. Never been terminated. I said I want it overturned to a resignation. He said, well, because of the verbiage that was used, I said, you know what? Fuck you. He said, and it's that kind of attitude. I said, no, you're done talking. I'm done talking. I said, I have given you people more than enough chances to prove yourself. He said, well, we would highly advise against you making a video because, you know, it could become a defamation of character or slanderous case. I said, not when it's the fucking truth. So, that's the story. That's where I have been. I have been in intensive therapy and recovering from my injuries. Getting my tooth replaced, of course. That was most important to me. I'm not in any pain anymore. My back still gives me issues, but I have stuff here on the truck that I still do. I still do physical therapy even on my truck. I had to replace all of my own shit. Had to pay to go get all of my own shit. And I got a letter from Providence, Workman's Comp, that said that while I would not be compensated for my wage loss from being off of work, Swift has agreed to allow them to give me my medical benefits. They emailed it to me. My husband called today. He was like, you got a letter from Heidi from Providence. I said, put it in the file folder that's going to go to court. So Swift, here's what's going to go down. I've made my video. I've said my piece. I've said my story. This is the 13th time I've told this story, and it's going to be the last time I tell this story. The next time I say it, it's going to be in front of a judge. And I'm not going to be the one talking, because all I'm going to do is hand over my big folder in chronological order of events that happened. And just like I asked y'all today, essentially Swift told me they don't give a fuck about safety. They don't give a fuck about if you feel safe, fatigued, if you're hurt, if you could see, if you're blind, if you're bleeding, if you're missing teeth, if you fucking can't turn your neck. Keep the truck moving. Keep the fucking truck moving. A workman's comp claim was never filed on my behalf. 6 different lawyers. 6. And I even called the Texas Justice Bar Association to get some lawyers, some just random lawyers, some young eyes to look at it. Maybe something was missed. No. So my family's attorneys that we have on payroll dug deeper, and Providence is equivalent to a politician's PAC. So if you know anything about politics, they're not rich on their own. They don't use their own money. If you're in a business, you don't use your own money to start business. You get investors. PACs are private entities, private non-profit organizations that quietly give politicians money to do their bidding. And kind of like organized crime, that's how politics works, that's how the government works, and apparently that's how fucking Swift works. So, Swift, you're no better than the Gambino family, you're no better than a fucking cartel, you're no better than the fucking government. You're just as bad. This is why I am anti-fucking corporation. So now I am my own authority with my own truck, and I can contract it with whoever the fuck I want to. I have access to a job board. I only pay 99 cents a gallon for fuel. I have medical benefits that I pay less than I was paying for fucking Swift with shitty benefits. I have a tax accountant that takes care of not only Texas Mother Trucker transports taxes, but including my husband and anyone in my family. I have way more benefits and way more freedom and make way more fucking money being on my own than I ever would have made being with Swift, lease, owner, operator, or not. So that's my story. That's what I've been through. That's where I'm at. I'll do a whole truck tour thing, and I got my stickers are back in Denton right now, and I got to get back to Denton to get my stickers put on. But if you see the brightest orange green truck that you've ever seen with red, black, and white graffiti on the side of it, I'm waiting. There's a big orange spot for me to put my Texas Mother Trucker logo and name and all of that fun stuff. But on the back, I'll have a mural dedicated to my cousin who passed. That's me. A lot of you have already ran into me, mask and all. Even with the hair change and everything, y'all have run into me, and I'm out here. I've only been back out now for 2.5 weeks. I went to, the truck had to go in the shop. Of course, it was brand new. So the truck had to go in the shop straight out of Idaho because of the APU. Whoever put it on, the hose runs. So the APU system, I love it, by the way. If you don't have one on your truck, you're missing out. But the APU, the coolant hose, is a separate hose entity under the hood that's on the passenger side. Well, I was driving from Idaho to Wyoming, and I was making my way down to Texas to pick up my stuff to put on my truck because I flew out to Idaho to pick up my truck. And I picked up some loads going back south, and it was midnight on I-80, and when your coolant runs out, your whole fucking truck shuts off. Which means no fucking lights to the trailer or the tractor. I only flew there with my little carry-on suitcase and my backpack. So I'm wearing nice-ass clothes, my nice shoes. I have no flashlights, no nothing. It was supposed to be a straight shot. I hadn't even put the ELD system or anything yet. Now I run TransFlow, and doing my own thing is so much easier and better. But, and I keep having to put coolant in my fucking truck. Luckily, I keep all that extra stuff on my truck. But I kept saying, why? I've driven how many trucks for fucking Swift? Like 12 or 13. Never had to put coolant or anything. I said, why? And on the 4th time, it started smoking. I said, if I make it to Little America alive, because even though the APU coolant system, the hoses are on the passenger side under the hood, it's still connected to the main coolant reservoir. So I have to put it in from the driver's side. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I try not to talk about COVID or politics on here, and I'm going to leave it at that. But thank you. But I-80 is dark to begin with. You're in the middle of the fucking mountains. Luckily I was wearing a very nice NASA shirt that I have that has one little reflective strip on the back of it. If you shop at H&M, you've probably seen it. That's the only thing that would save my ass. And I had the flashlight from my phone. That looks like, if you're driving down I-80, it looks like a deer. A deer's eye. So the trucks were honking and freaking out because they could not see, not even my trailer or my tractor, because there was no power to it at all because there was no coolant. So I had to put the coolant, then close the hood, then get back in the truck from the passenger side and start it, and then they could see the lights. But while I was standing out there, I almost died a million times. So the truck was in the shop. They had to fix that. And then the only other problem I've had with it was I did make sure that this one had the airbag suspension drop button, because Swift doesn't like to put them in anything but the internationals. And I've had too many kingpins go over the fucking fifth wheel. Thank you very much. So I got to pick what I put in here. And when they put that in, they got the wires backwards. So anytime my truck was idling like it is now, well, it's not idling, the APU's on. Anytime I wasn't moving, my airbags were filled. The minute that I pushed in my brakes or put my foot on the engine brake and switched to driver reverse, the airbags were decompressing. They were suspending themselves. So I was dragging the trailer with no airbags whatsoever. So the back two airbags completely needed to be replaced, and they found out it was in Freightliner for a week and a half. They found out that because of this special switch that I put in there, whoever did it put the wires backwards. So we got that fixed, and now she runs great. But no, I've had her on the road now for 2 weeks. She started out with 38 miles, and now she has 6,063 miles on her. I love her. She's a beauty. Tribute to my cousin, and she's out here with me every day, just like the rest of my family. And pretty soon my brother will be out here, and I'm gonna build my fleet now that I know how to do it. So he'll be Texas brother trucker, and so forth and so on. So yeah, I have started my own entity. Dysfunctionally Functional is also an LLC. So I've been quite busy working on my podcast. If you care to listen to that, you can download it anywhere you listen to podcasts. It's Dysfunctionally Functional with the cover of my book. I actually have one that I put out, I think it was about a month ago, where I actually told the same exact story that I just got to tell y'all publicly on YouTube. Not many people in the trucking community know about my podcast because it's more about personal shit and daily shit than we go through in life. So I got tired of holding all of this in, and my podcast is my outlet. And working on the book, I have to go in chronological order and tell the events in the way they happen. So the podcast is where I go at the end of the day when I just have shit on my mind that I want to talk about that may help other people, and I just need to regurgitate shit. So there is when you find my podcast, there is a one that has a Swift trailer and it's on fire. Oh, that's the only place I've told the story other than right now, and to the bunch of dumbasses in Swift. So people of importance at Swift, fucking nobody. Drivers, they don't give a shit about you. People to complain to at Swift. At the top of the list, we have Kevin Quast. That is Quast. His butt buddy, Ken McBee. That's MC, capital B-E-E. In HR, we have Geocia, Geocia. Adriana, Bitch. Then we have, who else did I talk to? The retention dude who is for the drivers. There was a couple of them, but the main one, his name was Lee and Danny. Head bitch in charge at Houston. I don't know if she's still there or not. I'm sure she is. The HR people. Adriana did tell me, she said that it was the further ups who made the decision. I said, who are the further ups? She said, your Houston terminal. So Danielle Davies, I don't know if I'm saying her name right or wrong, but I don't give a fuck. HBIC, you can lick my fucking asshole after I take the world's largest shit. Her last name is spelled Davies. Purple hair, looks like a cunt, walks like a cunt, smells like a cunt. To Shatara Taylor and Charlotte Ramirez, my driver leaders, I have nothing but mad respect and love for y'all. I just wish that y'all would have handled my situation better and told me to stop working and call claims or even file a claim. Y'all really failed me in that department. I hope y'all didn't get in trouble for it, but if you did, I mean, that was your job. That was your job. Me as an injured driver calling and sending you a video and pictures and everything. Y'all didn't mention one fucking time what I needed to do. But y'all did ask if I was okay. Y'all are the only people that asked if I was okay, and I respect that. No hard feelings. People make mistakes. Who else? Jenny Bishop, claims injury department. Go fuck yourself. Fuck you, fuck you. Now you're a cunt ass pussy bitch, and I still don't fucking like you. Heidi R, who gives a fuck? R is gonna stand for retard in my book. Providence is a third-party contract company that Swift hires to get rid of people so that, one, injuries don't go on their docket and they still get their bonuses, and two, they don't have to spend money on your injuries. And if you do get injured and you file your claim, they're going to offer you a severance package in exchange for your silence and your resignation. That's how they handle your injuries. Anybody else I think I'm missing? Nope, those are really the main people. Those are the main people. Kadar, wherever you are, if you're back in Washington, who knows where you are? You're a wanderer. Mad fucking love and respect for you. I see why you were so frustrated all the time. I wish you would have given me a heads up. But I knew as soon as I came back. Thank you. I did earn this. I did earn this. That's fucking facts. And I'm happy I get to get up and do what I love every single day. I don't have people pressuring me, people fucking me over on plans, or rushing me, or telling me to do this or do that. I get to look at the job board. I get offers from people, and I get to do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want to do it. And I have all of these benefits and perks. And like I said, if you're interested in how I got to do this with little to no money out of my fucking pocket, and when I say that, I mean it. Even the perks that I have connects for all of that stuff. I will never work for another company. Sorry, won't do it. I do suggest mom and pop companies. I did do orientation. I did work with Hirschbach for a while. And I did do orientation with Frey Miller, but Frey Miller did not like the fact that I was on a certain medication, and I didn't care to tell them why I was on the medication, because it's for PTSD. And with Swift, I was a company driver. I was on my way to lease. I was actually going to sign those outrageous terms. I didn't care. I loved the company and I loved my truck. Kenny was mine from the moment I saw her. And now some other person's probably going to treat her like shit. And like I said, when I see Swift trucks, I just try to avoid them. There are a lot of Swift drivers that recognize me and, you know, want to know why I'm in a different truck and why it's this color and why I'm... No, you don't make any money with company. They fuck you over. The planners fuck you over. The biggest problem with people like Swift, big companies like Swift, corporations, is you're a number. You're not a human being. And that's where my pain comes from. My pain comes from the fact that I was a driver code and a truck number. Even as an injured employee, every time I called to talk to somebody who was handling my case specifically, I was still a driver code and a truck number. And when I was able, according to Workman's Comp, Heidi Retard, when I was released to go back to work, there's a Hirschbach truck right there. When I think I'm wearing a Hirschbach shirt. Yep. I promote Hirschbach a lot. I love them. They gave me the best opportunity I've ever heard of in my life. And I'm glad that my cousin put me in contact with them. And that's who I ended up going to make all of this possible. And they have tons of programs. They have tons of different options. Their buyout program is, like I said, the truck was $171,000, walked away paying $52,000. They own their own equipment, so it's different. Frey Miller, they own their own equipment, so it's different. I don't talk about 50. If you're not trolling and I was mean to you, I'm sorry. But I don't talk about 50 on this channel. I do not talk about 50 on this channel whatsoever. I can say one positive thing about 50. I still use some of the backing techniques to this day that he taught me. Kenny was beautiful. But this truck right here, she's a beast. She's a fucking beast. There's so much going on under this hood. My son, so we have Life 360. It's a GPS app for the family, so they can keep up with me, and more importantly, I can keep up with them. But my truck goes from 0. She roars. Oh, this truck roars. I got a twin turbo under there. I decked this truck out. I'm so sorry that you're going through orientation at Swift. I am. That's all I could say. You can go back and watch the playback whenever I'm done. Get the fuck out of there. Get the fuck out of there. Go to Pam. Go to Prime. Go anywhere else. Do not fucking stay with Swift. Do not. And I'm still friends with a lot of the instructors. Good luck. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. There's 118 minutes of why you should run as fast as you fucking can away from Swift right there. They almost killed me. No. Now, on that note, Hirschbach made it possible for me to buy this truck the way I did. My cousin hooked me up. Like I said, she was a broker, and she only worked with mom and pop companies. Mom and pop companies are different because they do not lease their equipment, so there's no interest. Hirschbach has by far the best fucking lease to own and owner operator programs. That's how I was able to get the truck so cheap and have my own authority. Like I said, they paid for my authority for me. It's one of the first things they ask you for. So many injuries from handling, brain swelling, swelling your lip. I forgot what else. So I had to stitch my own lip. This tooth is fake as fuck. And that one right there. You can actually, in the daylight, you can see. I'll try to do. I actually gained like 12 pounds being at home for 2 weeks. But I'm down to 160 now. My bat wings are ever growing. but all of my skin is just falling off. In January, I plan to start doing the skin removal surgery. It's gonna take 3 surgeries to get it all off. Busted lip. I have no feeling in my lip, but I won't pierce it because it's not symmetrical to my face, and I have OCD. My tooth I had to have a root canal and a fake tooth put in. I had encephalitis, which is swelling in my brain, concussion, whiplash, cervical spine stenosis, meaning that my curve and my spine was completely straight from the force of impact. I still can't turn my neck all the way, but I can turn it good enough to drive. I had to take another physical and drug test before I could come back out on the road. And 7 of my vertebrae in my thoracic spine, which is in the middle of your back, were all jagged and twisted. So I had to have a lot of physical therapy. A lot of chiropractic stuff was done to me. And a lot of Pilates and yoga and stretching. I have my foam roller up there. I have a Theragun here. That's the compression gun. It helps to keep my muscles loose and keep my bones intact. I have a shake plate on my truck. You stand on it and it wiggles, and it helps you lose weight. It's good for blood circulation as well. But I bought a shake plate for my truck. I'm still having to do things to keep my back to still get it balanced. It's not completely straightened in the middle just yet. I'm short, so you can't really see, but there is a massive hump right here. These 2 vertebrae right here, 7 and 8, they are just giving me a hard time. They just won't go back. So I take a non-narcotic pain reliever for that. Won't hurt my stomach at all. But no, I'm still going through stuff. I was just hurt July 22nd, and here we are, September 21st, almost 21st. So it's only been 2 months. The lady wanted me out of physical therapy, intensive physical therapy, for 6 weeks, which is just 2 weeks ago. Yeah, people thought of South Park when I made the video. They killed Kenny. I had to title it that because even Kadar was still my terminal leader at the time. He texted me and he was like, "Is it too early for South Park jokes?" I said, "My brother already said it." He was like, "They killed Kenny," because my brother was with me and he got to experience Swift being so generous and giving me something so precious, and I just fell in love with her, and he got to watch me fall in love with it. And he was studying for his permit, and he's out getting his CDL. He had a setback, but he's doing good now. But he got to watch what he wanted for his future, and now that he's watched them, God, I need to put conditioner in my hair. The wind in Kansas is so Wizard of Oz. It's not even funny. But he was there from the beginning with Kenny, and then they rebuilt her, and they flew me out to California to go get her, and I was just like so fucking excited. I got her back, and I cried my fucking eyeballs out, and I didn't even complain about the 8 hours getting her back together, moving the trucks, nothing. And it was all for nothing. So I can't say that I've lied to y'all about Swift, because y'all been on this journey with me, and I will continue making videos, of course, and continue my journey as I continue to grow. I want 5 trucks under me. I'm working on the second one now. Hirschbach has a thing where it's called Trick Your Ride, and you can actually purchase through them the same way that I purchased this truck, but you can actually go to any dealership, and you can actually, kind of like when you build your Teslas, if you know anything about Teslas, you build them yourself. My daughter is building hers right now. Her fiance just got his that he started building last year. But they will actually, for the same price that you're paying for the truck already, you can either lease it, or the day you sign up for it, it says $171,000. My paperwork is around here somewhere. Is it in the truck? I think it is. Yeah, it's in my bag. I'll pull it out, show y'all, because people are not going to believe me. $171,000. Right underneath that is a buyout number. That starts from the time you sign. The ink doesn't even have to dry. You can buy it straight up for $52,000 and it's yours. And you can work under your own authority. They get on there. I actually have a very nice business corporate looking polo button-up shirt that they had my name embroidered on. Don't pay for any of that shit. And they actually are the reason that I get a lot of the discounts that I get. And I can take loads from them, or I can take loads off a job board. You have the freedom to do whatever you want under your own authority. And there's no catch. There is no catch. What are the requirements for them to be a lease driver? With Hirschbach, you have to be an over-the-road driver for at least 2 years. All they haul is reefer, and they have 100% fucking success rate. That's why most people have not heard about them. They only have 12,000 trucks in their fleet, and they are very, very picky about who they bring on. They have the best lease options that I've ever seen. But leasing wasn't something that I was interested in when I saw the different programs. So if you're interested in purchasing a truck and you want to do it without spending an arm and a leg and a tooth and half of your life and your kid's college fund, Hirschbach is a good company to check out. Frey Miller was good as well. Like I said, it was just they didn't like that I was on a medication that I take for PTSD, and unfortunately I suffer from PTSD. And then after being hit while I was in my truck, my PTSD got a little worse. It was really hard for me to sleep at night at truck stops for a while. Now I'm cool. But they just didn't feel comfortable with that particular medication. So I still take the medication. I still drive the way I drive. It doesn't affect my driving at all. But they just didn't feel comfortable with it. So no harm, no foul. But I went to their orientation. They have a decent lease to purchase and owner operating package, but it doesn't beat Hirschbach. No, I have not come across anybody that beats Hirschbach at all. Anything that happens to this truck, I pay a maintenance fee. It is 10 cents a mile that I pay from day one when my truck started breaking down the first night that I left Idaho when I got to Wyoming. I hadn't even started paying into my maintenance fee. But because I signed a piece of paper saying that I will pay this 10 cents a mile for the jobs that I do for this company, they covered everything 100%. 100% maintenance on the tractor for the entirety that I have it, whether I work with them or without them, or if I take something off a job board. And the whole thing with my switch that I wanted put in here, it was put in wrong. The wires were backwards. They fixed it. They also paid me $250 a day to sit around and do absolutely fucking nothing. I did not have to do anything but just sit at home and make money. Girl, you need to get in a truck. You need to get in a truck, and you can drive any of my trucks. I want 5. We'll see how it goes. I'm working on the second one. I want to do their Trick My Ride program. So buying the truck is the same way, but you get to build it any brand, any color, any specs, whatever you want under that hood, APU, no APU, whatever the fuck you want. You build it from the tires up. And the price doesn't change whatsoever. And they actually fly you out to go get your truck. I did not fly myself to Idaho. They paid for everything. They paid for my rental cars. If you have 2 years or more OTR experience and you want to purchase your own vehicle and you don't want to do it, if you don't have the credit or you don't have the down payments or whatever the case may be, and you want to start making money right now, I highly recommend Hirschbach. Almost all my shit in here says Hirschbach. I have my own merch, of course, that I wear because I'm my own entity now. Even my Hirschbach shirt says TMT. They help you grow your own business, and no other company does that. They are picky. You have to have a very clean driving record. They're going to do a hair follicle. They're going to do the whole 9 yards. They have lowered their driving standards, so you don't have to have a squeaky clean record, but you need to have been working on it. So it is a little easier. They used to be a lot harder to get on with. But the flexibility of the workloads, they call you by name. You're not a driver code. I mean, it's called driver code, but it's your fucking name. They take a picture of you, so whenever you call in or you're calling the job board or whatever, your face pops up with your name, and they're like, "Hey, Teresa, how you doing? Blah, 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 blah." And you're a human, and you feel like you're with family. I can go to any of their terminals, walk in, everybody's just chit-chatting, and it's just a great environment. They don't have a lot of terminals, so I've only been to like 2 of I think they have 5. They're based out of Iowa. I don't ever go that way. So I primarily hang out in the Denton one if I'm in the Dallas area, and I have family there, so it works out. Swift was trying to hire me as an instructor. I won't do it. I won't do it now. I wouldn't do it then. But that may be something that you might be interested in. Especially with your family dynamic that we talked about. You know, not wanting to be so far away from your daughters and stuff. That may be something that keeps you busy for now. But I have to go to sleep because I'm right across the street from National Beef. What's it called? Ugh. I don't have my trip book anymore. I gotta say, Swift had the best trip books. It's called National Beef. I'm in Dodge City, Kansas. And then I'm going stop at a Sam's Club in Henderson, North Carolina. And then another Sam's Club. It's Charlotte, North Carolina, and then ending in Schuler Meats, Thomasville, North Carolina. And your stops as an owner-operator, that's where you make your big bank. So, where I used to get paid per mile, now I get paid per load. Some trips, if it's specific to Hirschbach itself, I get paid per mile. But we're talking 12 times more than what I was making with Swift, even as an owner-operator. And with them, when I do loads for them, I get paid $150 per stop. I don't ever touch the freight. They pay for all the washouts and everything. I still get reimbursed for shit. Because it's a requirement for they're leasing me. They're contracting me in my truck. So that is how this situation works. I don't work solely for Hirschbach. I promote Hirschbach, but I'll have to break it down. I'll get my paperwork out. I'll show you all the truck, show you everything I have in here. It's all the same stuff. It's just bigger. I love it. I'll show you all the bells and whistles. There's one, the side indicator on the passenger side. I fucking hate that thing. It lets you know that, because that's your blind side, it lets you know that somebody's on that side, and the little triangle turns orange. But anytime you put your blinker, if there's a tree, if there's a car, if there's a person, it doesn't matter. If that indicator on my step indicates that anything is on that side, it turns bright red and it starts beeping so fucking loud. I don't know why I put that in there, but it's there. Whatever. I put a lot of interesting things that I didn't know I could have on a truck on here. And this isn't even my tricked out truck that I want to build. So hey, that's really good. I enjoy talking. I like teaching through talking. And that's how I started the YouTube channel. I wanted to share my experience, and through that, y'all asked a lot of questions, and that's how I started teaching people how to plan. Planning is by far the number one thing I'm the best at. I am excellent at putting this fucking trailer anywhere it needs to go, but I don't have tripods and all that shit. You gotta fit. 50's channel is really good for that stuff. I'll give him that. I still use a lot of the recipes, I call them recipes, to this day that he taught me about backing. I still use them to this very day. That's about the only thing I learned from that man. And never, if it's too good to be true, and there's something wrong. Do your investigations, do your research, do your history, dig through your history, dig through your company's history before you sign any papers with anybody, make any contracts with anybody. Have a lawyer go over it if you got one. If you don't, I can help you go through stuff. But for the love of God, spread the fucking word. Do not, under any fucking circumstances, go to night or swift transportation. And on that note, I bid y'all a good night. I love you all. Thank you all for your love and support. I'm glad to be back. If you run into me, COVID is real. I have yet to catch it. I don't even have the antibodies. Praise Jesus for that. I have lost a lot of family members to the ones who decided that they wanted to sign up for the what I call Operation Population Control, the vaccine program. If you've done that and you survived, count your blessings every day. I've lost quite a few people to the vaccine itself. My kids have had, or not Cordelia, but Draven and Paul and my brother all had COVID at the same time. Luckily, I was away at orientation and purchasing and triggering, putting this little thing here together. They had it very, very bad. So there's not many people that I don't know that haven't had it or that have been vaccinated. No excuse to drive and go live on the other video. You should give the drive 100%, not checking, and you're not checking your mirrors. Okay. One thing I can tell you about that, I won't be rude to you because I don't feel like being rude. If you ever see me driving, I'm going to tell you how you can point me out, other than all of these tattoos and appendages. I usually have my left leg crossed over my driving leg, because I'm usually on cruise control on a country road where there's nobody. I am usually playing air guitar or drums. I'm usually eating or snacking on something or drinking something, or I'm talking on my AirPods. But more than likely, I am jamming the fuck out, and I dance. I stand up and adjust my shorts. I do a lot of things that make people think that I look like a crazy, distracted fucking driver. I make Snapchats where I'm looking ahead because a favorite song will come on and I want to share that joy with other people. One thing that I can tell you wholeheartedly is that I have been called by safety from both companies on more than one occasion, because they have the in-facing cameras and the out-facing cameras. I have never, ever triggered that camera to go off. I have a zeros across the fucking board. I get protection bonuses and safety bonuses every fucking week, even with Swift. Every month, it was every month with Swift. With Swift. I may not look like I know what I'm doing, but if you ask me about the 6 cars behind me, I can tell you what license plates where they're from. I can tell you what they look like. I can tell you how many cars are in front of me, how many cars are on the side of me, which is not very often because I drive on country roads. I am always paying attention. I am the safest driver across the board. That is one thing that Swift will never be able to take away from me, and Hirschbach still to this day, every fucking week. The first time they called me, the safety department called me, he had to call to make sure that I was a real person because he did not believe the scores across the board. And it wasn't because my truck was sitting still. I actually drove that week. I have never tripped off any camera in any truck that I've ever been in. The Russian guy tripped off my camera when he hit me while I was in my sleeper berth. So that's what I have to say to your Snapchat comment. I am completely safe in everything that I do. And if you are a driver and you say that you don't eat, you don't drink, you don't make phone calls, you don't touch your radio, you don't smoke, you're lying. All of those are distractions, and we all do all of them. Well, I don't smoke, but I do everything else, I think. Yeah. Siri texts for me. Siri opens up Pandora for me. Siri will do anything that I need my phone to do. My phone is set up right. I'll show you. Yeah, I know. That's why I don't want to be rude. People who say stuff like that, you can easily tell who's drivers and who's not. That's what my situation looks like. My phone sits right there, except it's that way, of course, orientation locked. So I can easily reach my phone, but you'll never fucking see me do that, ever. So there's my freezer and my fridge. Love it, but I will do the whole thing. Yeah, I don't get into arguments with people like that because you can easily. I've been doing this a long time, longer than I ever thought I would. Obviously, consider myself still a rookie because I still learn stuff every fucking day. Just when you think you've seen it all, somebody else flabbergasts you with bullshit. But no, you can tell that she's not a driver because she made a ignorant comment. So I just want to inform her, if you ever become a driver, those are all distractions. We're all distracted by something. But I use my ADHD to my advantage. I multitask like a motherfucker. And I have fun behind the wheel. I do. I could not imagine sitting like this all day long, staring out the window and you're just putting off negative energy, waiting for you're waiting to get hit when you do shit like that. Relax, have fun, enjoy the fucking scenery. Lisa must not have been on my channel when I was doing my GoPro footage. That I actually had the remote control where I could think in my pocket and turn the GoPro on. Oh, the shit that people gave me. Oh my God, you're videoing live? I'm the safest driver I know. I'm the safest driver Swift knows, and the safest driver Hirschbach knows. Only 2 companies I've ever been involved with. So, thank you very much, Lisa, for taking me off topic to talk about distractions. But anyways, I'm gonna let y'all go. I am back. Don't give a fuck about Swift. If you're with Swift, all I can say is good luck. Get out while you can, because they will force you the fuck out. And whatever you do, don't get fucking injured. If you go to pick up your load and that trailer is fucked up, don't take the load. Because if you get stuck with that trailer like I got stuck with that one, and something happens to you, ching, off with your head. Y'all have a good night.